So you guys have seen me on this little outfit and same makeup. It's because I'm doing this thing on the same damn day because it's so much easier like that. But anyways, let's just jump right in onto the face today, which is what we're working with. One of the first thing I highly recommend you guys is to wash your face before you do your makeup. Like, you might have washed your face early this morning or last night or something like that, but I highly recommend for you to wash your face before doing your makeup, because it is going to help you have a very nice, even, smooth canvas. Just the air alone has so much like bacteria and stuff flowing around, and that gets on your face anywhere, like your hands as well. If you're somebody that puts your hands a lot on your face, that also creates a lot of bacteria and brings a lot of stuff to your face. So it is very helpful for you guys to wash your face before you do your makeup. I highly recommend it. I'm telling you, like, you'll see a difference. So another thing, if you don't want to wash your face, is using a wipe. I use whatever wipe, trust me. I don't buy anything expensive. So I just like to use a wipe and just wipe any excess stuff that I might have on the face from this morning, or just from hanging around outside or anything like that. Really get anything off that I might have on my face, just because I want something very smooth and I don't want to hide. I don't want stuff to get like stuck between the foundation and my face, which often tend to happen a lot just because people don't wash your face. So, and also, if you're somebody that do your eye first, your eye makeup first, you're more likely to have like fallouts on your cheeks. So make sure you always also clean that up, because once again, you don't want anything to get stuck between your foundation when you apply primers and things like that, because then again, it'll create like some texture looking foundation, and we don't want that. I also just go ahead and kind of clean my hands. That's another tip too. If you use your fingers a lot to apply foundation, make sure you wash your hands, because most likely you're gonna have bacteria on it, and your foundation once again is going to create more texture and it's going to look more and more bumpy. So whether you're oily or dry, you want to make sure you moisturize, just because it's going to help. Once again, you're creating practically like a wall between your, not a wall, but like a barrier between your skin and your foundation. You don't want just applying your foundation right on top of the skin. Most likely it's going to clog your pores and it's not going to look pretty. So you want to make sure you have some type of moisturizer, which again, it will help when applying your foundation, making it look so much smoother. I've been applying almost everything, you guys, with a brush, because I feel like everything looks nicer. I've been trying to stay away from applying things with my hand, just because my hands, I feel like they touch everything and everything has so much bacteria. So I just like applying my primer, just blend that in with a brush. I think I find it so much easier. Moisturize, so you want to moisturize the skin, and this will also help a lot when your foundation look kind of like clinch to dry patches. If you had dry patches, this will also help with that, just to kind of have that nice moisturized face. And I like to apply this all over the face. So once you have your moisturizer on, you let every product that you apply on your face, you want to give it a few seconds, a few minutes, just to kind of settle in and kind of like adhere and sink into the pore, just to make sure you're not going in over another product and just mixing everything together, which kind of like can create a little different texture to your skin and look kind of weird and all over the place. So I just like to give it a little minute, settle in, and then go on to the next product. By the way, the primer that I'm using is this Pearlie's Balancing Moisturizer. I really like this because it hydrates the skin, and this is for normal to dry skin, and it kind of dries to like a subtle finish, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I just really like it. Like, it doesn't feel super oily or anything like that. So anyways, next I'm moving on to my Baby Skin Pore Eraser. This is not my favorite one, but I use it because it's super affordable. This actually has more of a silky texture finish, and again, I'm just taking a little bit right on my hand, and I'm going to be applying that also with a brush, just because I don't want to use my hands, and just kind of blend in that primer. So a primer is very important, because again, this is what's going to fill in the pores, just to make sure you have that even canvas to work with when you apply your foundation. So this is what's going to really help and give that finish like smooth. Your pores are basically holes, so this primer is going to fill in those holes to have an even canvas, so your foundation can look super smooth and like even, and not get into your pores, because you don't want all that chemical in your pores. So again, you guys, I try my best to kind of explain what I'm doing, just because I'm not very good at explaining things, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying, you know? And you want to apply your primer basically where you have the most pores areas, which for me is usually my nose and my cheeks right here, like this area. So I like to really focus it on there, like right here. So once I'm done with that, then I go in with my foundation. You can actually go ahead and apply a little bit of setting spray. It helps your foundation stick on better and apply on even better. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with my foundation. So the one I'm using today is this Milani Conceal Plus Perfect Foundation. This is a 2-in-1 foundation, and I use the number 03. So I actually like this foundation because it has a very nice coverage. Like it blends in so nice, and it has a beautiful coverage. So once again, make sure you prime, moisturize your skin, just because a primer has a silicone base and it helps the foundation go on smoother and look super like a smooth wall. That makes sense? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and dot the foundation all over the face just to kind of make sure I spread it all around and I apply the whole pump in just one side. So I'm just going to spread it around, and then I'm using a brush to blend it right in. So you can actually use a brush to kind of get a fuller coverage. When you use a beauty blender or a sponge, the sponge actually kind of like takes away a little bit more just to kind of get more of an airbrush finish, more of a soft foundation look, which would be ideal for more of an everyday look. So today I want to just use this brush just to kind of get more of a fuller coverage, just to kind of show you guys when using a primer and also moisturizing your skin how helpful it is. When applying foundation as well, you don't want to go all the way up here to your under eyes because we're going to be applying concealer, and when you apply foundation also on your under eye and then the concealer, it will more likely be creased, and also it will more likely to kind of like look cakey. So you want to kind of like avoid that under area there. It is very helpful to also stay away from the cakey. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that really in, and as you can see, I'm putting a lot of pressure just because I really want this to blend in very well into my pores. Don't forget to bring it down to your neck because most likely your foundation it will show when you don't blend it in, because it has happened to me, you guys, where I kind of just like stop right here and then you can kind of see that line where the neck looks different and then the foundation looks another color. So make sure you always bring it down to your neck. So as you can see, I have my foundation already done. So once again, applying moisturizer also helps to give you more of a glowy look to your foundation. I am normal to dry skin. Sometimes I'm like combination, but lately I have been like super dry. And it's super helpful when you apply moisturizer. Moisturizer is like a skincare for your skin. You want to kind of protect your skin from all the harsh chemical that a foundation might have. It might react to your face. So it's very good for when you apply and like barrier between your foundation and your skin. That's why sometimes people break out a lot because they don't put a barrier between their skin and their foundation. Again, you guys, foundation have a lot of chemical, let's be honest with you. Those are chemicals in your skin, so you want to kind of create a barrier. Of course, make it smooth, make it look nice and neat. Now we're gonna go ahead and go on to the under eye. So one of my favorite concealer is actually the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. You guys see me use this a million times. I love it so much. It is bombs. I just like to apply it right under the eye. And another thing is that you don't have to apply it super close to your lash line, you guys, because when you blend it in, it's going to go up. So you do not have to bring that concealer all the way up there, because most likely when you do that, it's just going to crease, and that's what happened to most people, that it crease because it brings it so close into the lash line. So you don't have to do that. Of course you can, that's your choice, but I'm just telling you why you shouldn't. And this is just kind of highlight the areas that I want. Also, applying concealer right on the side of the nose is going to give you a natural contour line. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Doing this, you're basically contouring the nose, and you can kind of see already, ew, that looks so ugly. But once we blend it in, you're going to see the difference. So again, I'm just applying it right under the eye, just bringing it out like this because I want more of a higher cheekbone like that, just to cover up some redness. So for the eyes, I like to use a wet sponge just because I feel like it gives more of an airbrush, and it really fits right under the eyes, helping you to get more of a airbrush finish. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that in. So as you guys can see, once you start blending in with a sponge, it really brings up the concealer all the way to up to your lash line, which is why I suggest to not apply super close, because then you're just gonna build up a whole bunch of concealer and it's going to crease really fast. So I just like to blend that in. I bring it up and I bring it down. This one in and blend it in my concealer. The concealer is basically to kind of conceal and kind of brighten up those areas where you want it to pop and emphasize more. By emphasizing this area, you make your cheekbone look even higher and have that like Kim Kardashian kind of look. The next step to do is actually set the under eye. So one of the major reasons, and everybody knows this, to set the under eye is because it will help your under eye not crease, and I'm gonna show you right now how badly it can crease. All these tips that I'm giving you is to lessen your concealer from creasing. I'm not sure if you can see, but when you're getting older, you you start getting lines like wrinkles, concealer will tend to kind of get in those lines, and it will emphasize it even more when you don't blend in the concealer or when you don't set the concealer. The concealer will more likely get in those lines and emphasize those lines even more. So that's why one of the major reasons why you want to go in and set the under eyes. What I'm using today is the setting powder. This is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Bake Brightening and Set Loose Finishing Powder. So I like to apply this with a damp sponge, just because when you apply with a damp sponge, it's gonna help to not look so dry, especially if you have dried on the eyes. This is a cool technique where you should use, just dip it in just like that and apply it with a damp, not wet and not dry, just a damp sponge, because it will help the powder to blend in better. Let me just go ahead and do that right like that. So I'm just gonna continue blending it in onto the skin. It immediately starts to blend it into the skin, and I like to bring it to the side of my nose. Once again, that's why I apply the concealer, because it will help kind of creating that a natural contour shape for the nose. Basically, it literally melts the powder into the skin and makes it look so smooth, and now you have everything set, and you can kind of see for yourself how beautifully it just blended into the skin. So I'm doing the same thing on the other side once again, and you can also go ahead and apply that on your chin, and I like to apply it a little bit right here between my brows, is because I tend to kind of like get oily there. This will also help lessen that process of getting super oily there if you guys get super oily. Another tip that I highly recommend for you guys to do is not to apply powder. Do not apply any powder if you're not done with your foundation, your concealer, or cream contouring. If you're still applying cream stuff on your face, do not apply powder, because if you apply powder and then go back to cream, it's gonna create a lot of cakiness to the face, and a lot of products is just gonna get super blotchy and harder to blend into your skin. So try to finish first with all the cream stuff, and then you're gonna move on to powder. So one of the first thing I do is actually set my whole face after I'm done with all the powders, just because I want everything to set nicely. So setting spray, basically they just like melt everything together into the skin, and it makes everything looks flawless. It takes away that powdery look. So that's why it's very important to set the whole face or kind of apply some sort of mist. It will make the foundation look 10 times better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of this. And by the way, this is a Jura Cosmetics Slay All Day setting spray. A lot of pee on my face. So this is the finished look for the face, you guys. I hope you guys learned something from it, took something from it. And if you do like this type of videos, please don't forget to thumbs up and also subscribe. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, ciao.